I believe is the magic phrase that lets conservatives feel like they're not lying. That's what they do with it. That's why they do it. So they can feel like they're not lying. They feel like if it's a belief that you can't criticize them for it. Let's watch a YouTube video now and turn that into a YouTube video. It's cyclical. All the best YouTube videos are people watching other YouTube videos. Everyone knows this. So I'm going to jump on that bandwagon and watch somebody else's video, and it'll be a good time. So what is this? This is the 20 Lessons on Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, read by John Lithgow. You know him. He's on TV sometimes and movies. So let's listen to them talk about tyranny, and then we'll chime in with our own ideas and stuff like that, and arguments, and we'll add to the list. It's a good time. So I've got my list of rants and arguments here, and let's go.
Hi, I'm John Lithgow. I'm going to read you 20 Lessons on Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. You may have already heard these, but it's time you heard them again. Number 1, do not obey in advance. Most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want, and then offer themselves without being asked. The citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do.
I think this is a good point. Bezos and Zuckerberg have already done this, the two of the richest people in the fucking planet. There are law firms now that are working to obey Trump so that they don't lose money. Donald Trump is looking for who he can push over without much of a fuss. And it will be hard someday in the future to avoid falling if everyone else has already laid down. Here is the Great Grovel: how Trump forced elite institutions to bend to his will. The lessons we can take from how easily institutions have folded to Trump's remarkable revenge campaign. Let's see. Details are varied, but two themes are consistent. In an effort far more organized and disciplined than any precedent from Trump's first term, to bring institutions who have earned the president's ire to heel. Even more surprising, the swiftness with which supposed powerful and supposedly independent institutions have responded by obeying in advance. With something akin to trembling acquiescence of a child surrendering his lunch money to a big kid in the morning walk to school. Prestigious law firms have cowered at his threats to tank their business. Paul Weiss, which fought against Trump in his first term, pledged $40 million in pro bono legal services to issues Trump has supported. They're just doing free work for him. Motherfucker, can I get some free legal work done? No. Fuck you, Waldo. Can Donald Trump get $40 million in free work? Yeah, of course he can, because if you don't give it to him, he'll tariff you or say that you're a bad company, or literally harm you with the power of the government. This is an extortion racket. This is a protection scheme. Sure is a nice law firm you got there, Paul Weiss. Be a shame if something happened to it. So he's paying $40 million in protection. Skadden Arps, one of the largest law firms in the world, reached a deal with Trump to provide $100 million in free legal work to administration-friendly causes before Trump had taken any action against them. He didn't even have to do anything. They just lined up and said, hey, here's my protection money. Please don't hurt me. One of the country's most storied news networks, ABC, settled a defamation lawsuit with Trump for $15 million that will go to his future presidential library. And another, CBS News, appears poised to settle for millions more. The Washington Post and the LA Times, both legacy papers owned by Trump-friendly billionaires, have adjusted their content on their editorial pages in ways that pleased the White House. They own the press now. They own the law firms. And I've still got motherfuckers in my YouTube chat telling me that the left runs the fucking planet. Evil George Soros and MSNBC are out to get them. And it's that little scrappy underdog that doesn't have any power or authority at all. The man of the people, Donald Trump, that's going to save them. He rose up from his humble origin as a dirt farmer of some sort, it seems. Orange dirt. Maybe that's why his skin's that color. He was an orange farmer, and then he rose through the ranks of politics to become a multi-billionaire. And now everyone's just backing off because he's so scary. No, man, he is one of the elite, and he is running a protection racket. If you don't pay him, he hurts you with the government. How did he get charge of the government? Well, he conned a whole bunch of Americans into voting for him. Lied to them, told them a bunch of things that aren't true, but made them feel really good. So they voted for him. And now he uses the government as a weapon, as a violent threat against anyone he wants to get money. America, land of the free, home of the brave. Let's keep watching this super fun video.
Number 2.
Rolling on number 2.
Institutions. It is institutions that help us to preserve decency. They need our help as well. Do not speak of our institutions unless you make them yours by acting on their behalf. Institutions do not protect themselves. They fall one after the other unless each is defended from the beginning. So choose an institution you care about, a court, a newspaper, a law, a labor union, and take its side.
So I like this one too. Institutions do have a hard time following that first rule to not obey in advance. That's what these law institutions that I mentioned a moment ago did. They obeyed in advance. Institutions are worried about surviving, so they will forget that first lesson. And the only way to help them survive is tell them that they will survive. Is for the people in charge to think that not obeying the dictator it might cause harm. Saying no to a dictator can harm you and your institution and your family and the people around you. But doing so is brave. We used to be brave in this country. We're not anymore. We're all terrified of losing what we have.
Hello human, it is me Canuch. I need you to press the subscribe button. I have to feed my many AI babies.
Number 3. Beware the one-party state. The parties that remade states and suppressed rivals were not omnipotent from the start. They exploited a historical moment to make political life impossible for their opponents. So support the multi-party system and defend the rules of democratic elections. Vote in local and state elections while you can. Consider running for office.
While you can is the important part there. Beware of the one-party state. Yeah, this is why I'm worried about Chuck Schumer and Gavin Newsom moving to the right. They create a uniparty. They get paid even if they lose, and if they lose, they get to criticize without doing any difficult work. Criticizing is easy. I do it all the time. But if you are the leaders of the party, you need ideas, you need plans, you need actions that your followers can take to get you back into power and do the right things that you think you ought to be doing. Chuck Schumer's not doing any of that. He gets paid whether he wins or whether he loses. He doesn't give a shit anymore. Is it nice to win? Well, sometimes. He doesn't want to win either because then he has to make difficult decisions. And when you win and you make a decision, then somebody gets hurt by the decision you make. Every decision that the Senate makes costs somebody something. The trick is, with the difficulty of leadership, is recognizing that and then trying to organize it so that you harm the fewest people. But that's hard, and he doesn't want to do hard things. He wants to go sell his book, okay? He wants to write a bunch of gobbledygook nonsense in a book and then sell it on daily talk shows and then make millions of dollars. He doesn't want to do difficult things. He doesn't want to take votes for shit that's hard. God, no. He doesn't want any of that.
Number 4, take responsibility for the face of the world. The symbols of today enable the reality of tomorrow. Notice the swastikas and the other signs of hate. Do not look away and do not get used to them. Remove them yourself and set an example for others to do so.
I think that's fine. No notes. Good stuff.
Number 5, remember professional ethics. When political leaders set a negative example, professional commitments to just practice become more important. It is hard to subvert a rule of law state without lawyers, or to hold show trials without judges. Authoritarians need obedient civil servants, and concentration camp directors seek businessmen interested in cheap labor.
This one, okay. So, yes, Republicans have no ethics. There can be no show trials without judges is a very good line. I totally dig what he's pushing for here. There can be no show trials if there are no judges to run them. But I think we've gone far beyond that one. I think we've passed this line already. The law firms that I mentioned a minute ago are falling in line. The big media is falling in line. Half the judges in this country are already on board with the Trump fascist dictator train, and he is threatening to impeach any that disagree with him. If Trump starts up extra legal fatherland patriotism inquiry, they will be able to find a judge to sit on that bench and hand down thought crime guilty verdicts. And we already have the cheap labor. When you look at the American agricultural industry, that's not a problem that Americans have. I mean, it's a problem that we have, but it's not a thing that Americans have a problem with. The American agricultural industry is very close to slavery, and Americans are okay with it. So when those people never get deported but get bad treatment, they'll just turn away and not look, and they won't care. They're not paying attention now, so it doesn't matter. I think we're past this one, honestly. They will find somebody like Pete Hegseth to sit in a black robe and say, guilty, guilty, guilty of thought crimes with a straight face, because he won't care.
Number 6, beware of paramilitaries. When the men with guns who have always claimed to be against the system start wearing uniforms and marching with torches and pictures of a leader, the end is nigh. When the pro-leader paramilitary and the official police and military intermingle, the end has come.
And I think he's right here. This is why the NRA meme was always so good, that joke that the NRA forgot to defend us from the tyranny of Donald Trump. The gun nuts have been promising that they would protect us from tyranny, but they were just talking about different people with different colored skin and pronouns. That's what they wanted to protect us from. And I don't want to be protected from that. That seems like a bad thing to protect us from. How about you protect us from fascist Donald Trump? Can you do that? No? You're on board because he doesn't like trans people and claims that he's going to make all the brown people disappear. Okay, well, I don't trust the people with the paramilitary types anymore. They have abandoned what I would think is a good idea.
Number 7, be reflective if you must be armed. If you carry a weapon in public, may God bless you and keep you. But know that evils of the past involved policemen and soldiers finding themselves one day doing irregular things. Be ready to say no.
He's not talking to you and me as revolutionaries. He's talking to the people in the military and the regular everyday cops. If the ICE agent is telling you, if you're a regular everyday cop and the ICE agent is telling you to put on a mask and help them catch a person whose visa has just been revoked because the words they said, or they wrote something in their college newspaper, maybe you say no. Maybe you look at them and be like, man, that's not a crime. Is it okay to arrest students with no warrants, accused of no crimes, while covering your face? Is that the process? That what part of the serve and protect is that? You know, there was a representative I got the other day. I saw this the other day. I don't know if you've seen this lady. She's a horrible lady. GOP Representative Spartz gets booed at her town hall. She said, there is no due process if you... There is no due process if you came here illegally because you violated the law. She doesn't know what the law is. She's a representative she's in the House of Representatives. She's supposed to be setting up the laws. She doesn't know what they are. She doesn't know how the government functions. She has this entirely backward because she has no idea how your government works or why it was set up the way it is. The process that you are due is to determine if you violated the law. whether she has either a super precognitive ability to know who has and hasn't violated the law without seeing evidence or hearing any defense, or, and I think this is more likely, she does not care about your civil rights because she bases all her decisions on her feelings about the person she's looking at. She feels like somebody broke the law. That's enough. That accusation is enough to send them to Salvadoran prison camp. She doesn't care what the evidence is. She doesn't give a damn about the defense of the person who was sent there accidentally. We talked about the accidental guy that got sent the other day. There's no working with this person. This is Representative Sparks. She is a fascist. She has put all of her carts in front of her horses. She does not know what innocent until proven guilty means. She's heard the words. She's probably spoken them at some point, but she doesn't know what they mean because she doesn't think. I'm telling you, man, believers don't think. They just believe. She believes that these people that we sent to El Salvador broke the law, and because of they broke the law, they don't get the due process, but due process determines whether or not you broke the law. But she believes they did it, so they did it. That's all that matters. Belief is the problem here. And I'm gonna rant about that again in a minute, I'm sure.
Number 8, stand out. Someone has to. It is easy to follow along. It can feel strange to do or say something different. But without that unease, there is no freedom. Remember Rosa Parks. The moment you set an example, the spell of the status quo is broken, and others will follow.
I like this one, but you know who doesn't like this one? The fucking Democrats. They sure don't. They're trying not to stand out. Remember a couple of weeks ago when Hakeem Jeffries said, "Don't become the story"? He told the House during that last State of the Union, don't make a scene, don't make a ruckus, don't stand out. I said it then and I'll say it again now. That is the worst political advice ever given.
Number 9, be kind to our language. Avoid pronouncing the phrases everyone else does. Think up your own way of speaking, even if only to convey that thing that you think everyone is saying. Make an effort to separate yourself from the internet. Read books.
I'm on board for this one too. If you respect the language, if you understand what you're saying and why, you might comprehend the reason behind it. Obviously, I like this one. I spend half my time with you just reinforcing the definitions of what the words are supposed to mean. We did it on number 7 a minute ago when we talked about the process that you are due process. It's a term you've heard 100 times before, but it is a process that you are due when accused with a crime. You are innocent until this process functions properly to determine that you are guilty. If you understand the words and what they mean, you can stand above most right-wing arguments because they use the terms but don't know what they mean. She said, if you broke the law, you don't get due process. That proves that she does not know what the law is. She doesn't know how it works. She doesn't know what due process is. She's just saying the things that she believes. I think Donald Trump does this all the time. He does not know what a tariff is. He does not know what asylum is. He does not know where Taiwan is. He does not know what is happening in Ukraine. He does not know what the words mean, but he says them, and then people clap. So he says them again.
Number 10, believe in truth. To abandon facts is to abandon freedom. If nothing is true, then no one can criticize power because there is no basis upon which to do so. If nothing is true, then all is spectacle. The biggest wallet pays for the most blinding lights.
And he's right there. If nothing is true, then you can believe anything you want. I criticize this one only because I hate the word believe. It is a superpower, reverse Uno card, that the right wing has used to abandon reality. I believe abortion is baby murder, and I believe gay marriage is a sin, and I believe lower taxes will bring in more money, and I believe smaller government will work better, and I believe tariffs are paid by other countries. And I believe Donald Trump when he tells me that Obama was not born in Hawaii. I believe Hillary Clinton needs to be punished for her mishandling of government information. I believe Pete Hegseth does not need to be punished for his mishandling of government information. I believe is the magic phrase that lets conservatives feel like they're not lying. That's what they do with it. That's why they do it. So they can feel like they're not lying. They feel like if it's a belief that you can't criticize them for it. Waldo can't get mad at me for having a belief. If he does, then I'll reverse Uno card him again and say, why are you attacking my beliefs? I'm allowed to have beliefs. Motherfucker, you're not allowed to have a belief on which way is north and which way is south. That's not a belief, man. We can prove that. We can determine the correctness of the statement. Conservatives wrap themselves in a million beliefs so that you cannot criticize them. And anytime they need to lie, they will simply call it a belief and feel better about it. Lying is not a thing that people usually feel good about doing. Usually you have some sort of guilt, you have some sort of feeling negative about it. But if it's a belief that tariffs are paid by other countries, well, then how is everybody going to argue with you? It's just a belief you have. I believe that Donald Trump was born in Kenya. I mean, you can prove to me facts all day long, but I believe it's true. And so I'm not lying to you when I tell you that he was born in Kenya. You see how I did that? I'm not lying anymore. I'm just telling you my beliefs. It's insane, but it's how they do it. Would I retitle this one? Yes. I wouldn't call it believe the truth. I would call it accept the truth, even if it tastes like shit. Most truth does.
Number 11, investigate. Figure things out for yourself. Spend more time with long articles. Subsidize investigative journalism by subscribing to print media. Realize that some of what is on the internet is there to harm you. Learn about sites that investigate propaganda campaigns, some of which come from abroad. Take responsibility for what you communicate with others.
I'm kind of on board with this one. This one's probably fine. Do your own research. Yes, great. Print media? I mean, I kind of agree with supporting investigative journalists, but the entire news universe has been infested with money. Even doing your own research is impossible without some money for a device, a computer to look into, or a phone, internet access that you have to pay for, subscription fees that you have to pay for, knowledge of how to avoid the $1 trillion algorithm that shoves things under your nose. You have to know and have some money and power and knowledge before you can even do your own research. It's not a thing that people can do easily and cheaply. And if you do try to do it on the down low, quietly and cheaply, you end up a flat earther, I suspect, because the trouble is facts have to be checked and then put out and cost money. But bullshit's free, bro. Facts are expensive and bullshit is free. I can find 1,000 bullshit YouTube videos. You're watching one right now that are free. But facts and reality has to be measured by experts and then printed. And if they're wrong, they get sued. That makes everything that they print in a print newspaper more expensive than just turning on a camera and talking shit to the internet. I recognize that I'm a part of that shit, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to make everything better, not worse, not just fucking get more money for myself. Damn. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Number 12, make eye contact and small talk. This is not just polite. It is part of being a citizen and a responsible member of society. It is also a way to stay in touch with your surroundings, break down social barriers, and understand whom you should and should not trust. If we enter a culture of denunciation, you will want to know the psychological landscape of your daily life.
I kind of like that one too. It's fine.
Haha, sweat.
I know. I knew my audience wouldn't like this one.
Check out Waldo's videos. https://www.youtube.com/@waldospoliticalstream/videos.
Thank you, robot. Um, yeah, my audience wouldn't like this one very much. I'm pretty good at this, and it is good advice. I don't want to, you don't want to suddenly find out that your neighbors and coworkers are Nazis and always have been. That would be a bad time for you. I don't think he's telling you to go out and be friendly with everybody. I know how difficult that is for internet types. And if you're watching a political streamer, you have something wrong with your social skills. I'm not saying you don't have any. I'm just saying you've got a problem. And I love you for it. But I have a problem too. I got lots of problems. But what he's saying is don't get caught by surprise. Don't walk into work one day after the Nazi takeover and everybody is on board. And you're like, oh, wait, are you guys all Nazis? And then they're like, yeah, aren't you? And you're like, yeah. You don't want to be in that situation. And if you knew that ahead of time, you could avoid it, maybe. Not work there. Do better, something better. Change the way you are, what place that you work.
Number 13, practice corporeal politics. Power wants your body softening in your chair and your emotions dissipating on the screen. Get outside. Put your body in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people. Make new friends and march with them.
So yeah, another tough one for internet streamers and watchers of internet streamers. I get it and I dig it, and I am going to a protest this weekend on Saturday. I'm going to go over to Seattle and watch some people do some protest stuff. And I'll march with them on Saturday, and it'll be a fun time. I'll take some photos. I'll put them in the Discord chat, and then if I see anybody doing live streams, I'll talk to them. I'm not going to live stream it because I don't think I could do that because I'm kind of dumb. Maybe I'll take some photos. Maybe I'll try and live stream, but I don't think I can. I don't think I have it set up right on my phone. I have a very old phone. It's like an iPhone 7 or something. I don't think I could do that. Anywho, I'll be over there. If I see anybody else live streaming, I'll try and jump in and be like, hey, look at me. My name's Waldo. Don't you want to watch my stream? And stuff like that. And then maybe I'll meet some new people. Maybe it'll be a good time. And I'll let you know how it goes on Sunday when I stream about it. So that'll be fun.
Number 14, establish a private life. Nastier rulers will use what they know about you to push you around. Scrub your computer of malware on a regular basis. Remember that email is skywriting. Consider using alternative forms of the internet or simply using it less. Have personal exchanges in person. For the same reason, resolve any legal trouble. Tyrants seek the hook on which to hang you. Try not to have hooks.
This is a good one too. I really like this one. Good advice. The American Gestapo are looking for any reason to deport the green card holders or people here on student visas and promising to do more. You probably shouldn't look into a camera and proclaim your grand revolutionary plan. I sure don't have one. But he's right here. If you've got issues with the government will use that to harm you. You know, if you have fines, if you have back taxes right now, Donald Trump wants the IRS to go away. But if you become his enemy, if Waldo had back taxes, he doesn't, but if he did, they would use that as a reason to arrest me and send me to El Salvador.
Number 15, contribute to good causes. Be active in organizations, political or not, that express your own view of life. Pick a charity or two and set up auto pay. Then you will have made a free choice that supports civil society and helps others to do good. Number 16, learn from peers in other countries. Keep up your friendships abroad.
Oops, I forgot to pause it. I was just watching the video. Yeah, number 15. Nice, no notes. Number 16.
Or make new friends in other countries. The present difficulties in the United States are an element of a larger trend, and no country is going to find a solution by itself. Make sure you and your family have passports.
I don't really love this one. I mean, first of all, severely woke, having a friend in another country. I guess how do I feel about the passports? If we're at the point of fleeing the country due to collapse or imminent danger, I don't think the passports would be respected, or they would just be used against you. Passports are for tracking. Passports are a tracking mechanism of a functioning society with rules that are followed by the people in power. We ain't got that right now. If Donald Trump wanted my head and I had a passport and used it to fly to Zimbabwe, they would know that because they run the passports through the system, and they would know when I'm going, and they would say, hey, this passport's been flagged. Stop him. Don't let him escape. So having a passport doesn't help if you're wanted by the fascist government. If you have a passport during the mass migration when we all starve to death and move to a different country or get chased out of this country by the Gestapo police, like they're not going to let you in because you have a passport and keep you out because you don't have one. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's helpful. A passport's great for getting out before things go wrong, but then you're just gone before things go wrong.
17. Listen for dangerous words. Be alert to the use of the words extremism and terrorism. Be alive to the fatal notions of emergency and exception. Be angry about the treacherous use of patriotic vocabulary.
And yeah, this is words again. And of course, I like this one. It's the definitions thing again. I talk a lot about definitions. Keep watching Waldo's definition streams. All definitions are based on feelings, and everything is definitions. We know this.
Number 18. Be calm when the unthinkable arrives. Modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. The sudden disaster that requires the end of checks and balances, the dissolution of opposition parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on, is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it.
And I talked about that earlier tonight when I was talking about the people sent to El Salvador with no due process, no judge, no defense, no evidence, accusations only. This is what he's describing there. Yeah, and chill and be calm is a good idea too. Don't panic. Don't let them take your rights away in order to secure the continuing order and stability of the Republic and reorganize into the first galactic empire. That's wrong. We saw that in a movie one time, and it didn't go well.
Number 19, be a patriot. Set a good example of what America means for the generations to come. They will need it. Number 20.
And yeah, number 19, I like that one. Be a patriot. A patriot will criticize their country when it does something wrong, which is difficult because your opponents will criticize it too. But you don't get that from the right, do you? When a Dem makes a mistake, they get fired. When a Republican makes a mistake, they get promoted, and there was no mistake. Case closed. Here's one right now. Here we go. White House says that case closed on Signal Chat despite calls for investigations. So the biggest story over the past 2 weeks has been these gigantic, massive, nightmare, career-ending security leaks that Pete Hegseth is a part of, and he should be fired for, and is worse than anything Hillary Clinton has ever done in her entire life. But he doesn't get calls for being fired from the right. No, they say case closed. It's over. We're not going to talk about that anymore. He learned his lesson. Also, there was no lesson to be learned because there was no mistake. And yes, you can see all the mistakes, but those weren't mistakes, you see, because that wasn't classified. And we can't talk about it because it's sensitive and classified. Well, you just said it wasn't classified. Hey, shut up. There were no mistakes made. And he learned his lesson. And it just goes around and around and around in circles forever. Nothing went wrong. Everything is fine. There is no nothing to invest. There isn't even anything to investigate. You know, it's case closed. We're moving on. Hey, what about Hillary? Didn't you remember? Don't remember Hillary? Don't you remember her? Wasn't she the one we need to investigate? Let's talk about her some more. Her small mistake is a giant mistake, and our giant mistake didn't even happen. Can't trust these people.
Be as courageous as you can. If none of us is prepared to die for freedom, then all of us will die under tyranny.
And number 20, be as courageous as you can. I get it. That's good too. You don't have to be Rambo. If you can't stand up and stand out safely, be careful and support those who can. So I'm not telling every undocumented immigrant to jump into the street and scream, I'm an undocumented immigrant and you can't take me anywhere. That's going to get you shot and killed. But lay low, support the people you can, be as courageous as you can. And I think that's a good advice. And that is the 20 lessons on tyranny. So I watched that video the other day. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. And I thought we could talk about it. So feel free to tell me which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like. Is there one specifically that you resonated with? Is there one specifically you didn't like? Is there one that you really think is terrible? Do you hate me? You can tell me all of these things in the YouTube chats, in the YouTube comment section. That is where hate goes to fester and roll around, because the YouTube algorithm is based on hate. So go to the YouTube page. It's right here. There it is. Yeah, YouTube page right there. Go on over there and spread some hate. Hate watch me, hate comment me, hate thumbs up me, hate ring my bell. The YouTube algorithm can actually feel your feelings when you press the YouTube buttons. It's a very advanced feature. Very few people know it exists, but it's there. And if you have anger and hatred in your heart when you're watching my video, the YouTube algorithm knows it and then shows you another. It's just how it works. That's the algorithm. That's the black box. That's why it's called a black box. No one knows how the black box works. I do. It's a black box made of obsidian and fire from the depths of hell. It's black because it's from the center of the earth where no light can penetrate. And that black box runs on hatred.
I am the algorithm. Click on this video to make me happy. You wouldn't like me when I am angry.